Hey guys, so I have a feeling this is going to be a bit of a longer reading. I was going to do this way earlier today, but midday I got hit with exhaustion. So that is definitely a sign that whatever collective I'm tapped into, you are needing to be in a period of rest and you need to listen. One of the things that is the reason that I haven't been posting is because I got super sick. And I suffer from a couple of different illnesses. But the problem this time was I was not wanting to admit that I couldn't do it on my own and I needed help. And by trying to fight through that, and not admitting when you need a bit of help and realizing you can't do it on your own, you will end up making a situation so much worse, okay? So, like what I said in the last post, this is going to sound a bit hard. It's going to be hard to hear, okay? The things that I'm going to talk about first. And I'm going to talk about them before the reading. And if you decide to skip past this and go to the reading's not going to make much sense to you, to be honest, because the important part is in the messages that I'm going to talk about before. So if you continue to try to skip past the healing portion, because that's what these words will be, and skip to the answer, you're going to continue to learn lessons because you're not actually learning from them, okay? So, one of the things that I'm going to talk about is one of the things that this collective is struggling with is the mentality of that should be me, like I brought up last night, or I guess early this morning. If you are in the mentality of that should be me, you are in a mentality of envy because you are looking at something that somebody else has, somebody else is going through, and you're thinking that you should be in the place of them. And the reality is that you're not. And here's the thing that I'm going to say. What I'm going to talk about and say is going to trigger you, okay? This would not be popping up on your feed if it wasn't meant to, if you weren't meant to hear the things that I'm about to say, okay? So I'm not going to apologize for triggering you because I am doing it in a healing way. I'm here to save lives, not to destroy them, okay? The things that I've gone through, there's a reason for that, so that I can help other people navigate through those things, okay? The reality of the situation is that should be me, it's not. If that person wanted to, they would. If they wanted to express their feelings, if they wanted to approach you, if they wanted to be a better person, if they wanted to change, if they wanted to try, they would, okay? Part of the problem that whoever I'm speaking to is not seeing is these past people you're holding on to, because I feel like that's kind of the situation. You may be currently holding on to this, but the past people that you're holding on to that anger of what you begged for from them, they gave to somebody else. Because the reality of the situation is when somebody wants to, they will. Just because you had a certain experience with somebody doesn't mean that the next person isn't going to get a different them. Because 9 times out of 10, they are. Some people, yes, they stay the same. They stay in their cycles. They stay in a traumatized state and they stay doing the things that they're going to do, okay? But if it was meant to be yours, it would be. And if it's not right now, but you somehow know that this thing is meant for you, do the work to get to it. And no, I'm not saying try and take it from somebody. I'm saying focus on yourself and those things will come to you, okay? Whoever I'm speaking to in this collective, you are healing your femininity, the divine feminine within you. And one of the things that I'm going to say is feminine energy is dark energy. It's navigating your shadow. and healing it. Okay, so part of the thing is that shadow that keeps following you around, those situations that were traumatic for you, those curses that have been generational for you, all of those things that are behind you, this dark thing that keeps following you. The only way to get rid of it is to turn off the light. Stop living in a state of delusion, because so whoever I'm speaking to, you're black and white. So I feel like this is a masculine that's having to heal the feminine nature within them, because masculines can be typically more black and white. Sorry, my dog just scared the crap out of me. So the way that I'm going to kind of explain this is, whoever this is needs tangible things to understand how healing occurs, because it's hard for them to understand something that they can't see, that they can't touch, okay? So I'm going to kind of compare this to like your body, basically. So when you are in a toxic situation that's not for you, okay? When you're putting yourself through that, it's essentially like you getting in an accident, okay? And what happens during this whatever happened, this event, is your body kind of pumps adrenaline to keep you alive when you get hurt, and dopamine, okay? And this is almost, it's to trick your brain into thinking you're not in as much pain as you are, okay? So when you're in a toxic situation, you're essentially, and making excuses for whoever this is, or for yourself, you're essentially putting yourself in a state of delusion, so you're getting that dopamine and adrenaline, okay? And what this is tricking you into thinking that you're not getting as hurt as you are, okay? Part of the problem, I guess I'll say it in that way, with this collective is you've gone through this more than once. This is a repeated cycle, okay? So you know that the painful part is not the ending, the cutting off of the leg, you know? It's not the surgery, the sewing back together. It's the rehabilitation after. Because, and the reason that is the hardest part is because when the accident happens, it is excruciating pain, right? When the ending happens, when you have to cut something off, you know, cut something out of your life, remove it. It's painful, but it's quick. It's quicker than what you're about to experience afterwards. The rehabilitation of that part of you, that piece of you, if you got to keep it, okay? So there's parts of you that get so damaged that they will never work the same, or they have to be removed in order for you to still move on, okay? And so why that's the hardest part is because you have to actively choose to go through pain every single day in order to navigate through it and work through it. And that's hard because you have the choice to sit on your ass and not do anything about it, or you can choose to go through the pain because you know you'll be better for it on the other side. Okay? The other thing is, the only way to navigate through those feelings, to navigate through those events, is you actually have to put a name to it. And that is something that this collective has struggled to do, or has just chosen to ignore and just move on with their life. But you have to put a name to that feeling, because that's the only way you can acknowledge what it is, so that you know how to move through it accordingly. And then once you do all of that, once you work through that darkness, you will then become the thing that emits light. And the thing that is causing the light isn't the thing that has a shadow behind them. They're the ones that create the shadow, which is going, you will then turn into the teacher, the one that then triggers other people into healing those aspects about themselves as well. Go ahead and go to the next part.